Hello and welcome to the stunning Gogma Golf Club here in Cambridgeshire, where I'm going to be talking you through the 8 ways you can use the rules of golf to your advantage. I think it's fair to say sometimes the rules of golf can feel quite complicated and often feel like they're out to get you, but there are scenarios where they can work to your advantage. And along with myself and Jeremy Ellwood, our resident rules expert, we're going to highlight some scenarios that can definitely help you use the rules to your advantage and might help you knock a shot or two off your scorecards. So without further ado, let's get on the golf course and find out those 8 ways you can use the rules to really help you out. So Jez, we've reached the beautiful 16th hole here at Gogma and there's a couple of cross bunkers down there, which are kind of borderline, not sure if I'm going to be able to carry those with my driver, or the typical golf ball that I use. How can I use the golf rules to my advantage in this situation? Okay, well if you knew there was a ball in your bag that was harder and carried further through the air, you could switch that if you wanted to on this hole. So, you know, the classic would be you'd switch from a top flight to a Pro V1, or the other way around. And you are allowed to do that under the rules. The rule 6.3a, all it says is when you start the play of a hole, you must use any conforming golf ball. And the only exception is if the one ball rule is in force, but that's usually only at elite and professional competitions where you have to use the same make and model of ball throughout. Yeah, so you won't see tour players using different makes and models during the round. In fact, tour players have sometimes been disqualified because they've had a slightly different model lurking in the bottom of the bag. Had to put one in place sometimes during the round and fallen foul of the rules later on. But for us, that's not an issue. Every time you get to a new tee, you can use a different ball if you wish to. Yeah, and there's scenarios where you might want to swap balls. Maybe there's a front right pin that you can see up by the green. You might want to switch to a softer ball to give you a bit more spin into that approach shot. There's a few different, or if it's quite windy, you want to switch to a lower flying golf ball, you could do that as well. You can do that. I mean, the reality is most people don't, but you could, and occasionally it might just save you a shot. And worth pointing out as well, Jez, that if I was to hit my tee shot into a lake, for example, I don't have to get the exact same make and model of ball out of my bag that I started the hole with. You don't. What you can't do is change a ball during the play of the hole if you found it, just because you fancy changing. The ball has to actually be cut or cracked for you to be able to change it during the play of a hole. There you have it. So this is a really important one. Use the rules of golf to your advantage. Pick and make a model of golf ball that's going to give you the best chance to shoot the best score on that particular hole. Go on. Nice. So there's probably a lot of you watching this video thinking, what on earth has Joel just done here? He's clearly broken some sort of rule, having some practice swings in a bunker, coming over and hitting this really good shot. That's probably a gimme. But as I understand it, Jezza, that is perfectly permitted in the rules of golf. Explain why. It is because the rules changed in 2019. Prior to 2019, that would have been a penalty offence. But now, the restrictions on touching sand in a bunker only apply to the bunker your ball is actually lying in. So there is actually nothing to stop you within the rules going, and let's say you're having a bad day in the sand, you just can't quite get your head around it. Crucial shot to keep momentum. You go and have a couple of swishes in another bunker and then come and play your shot as well as you just did there. That might just save you a shot. Obviously, you've got to be a bit careful that you don't wind your playing companions up by doing it time and time again. Yeah, or hold up play. Or hold up play, but there is nothing to stop you now having practice swings without a ball. Obviously, you can't put a ball in there, in another bunker before coming and playing the bunker shot you actually face. And I think that's a really crucial way of using the rules to your advantage, because you can gain a real sense of what the sand is like, the texture of it, the depth of it. You can wiggle your feet and you can feel how the club is entering and exiting the sand. So that's going to give you a really big advantage. It is, but as we say, you know, from a slow play perspective, if you did this on every hole, I think you'd probably not have many people want to play with you fairly soon. I would agree, but I think, you know, frowned upon, but if you are really struggling in your bunker, use that to your advantage. It might help you on your next shot. Ooh. Oh, Jez, I don't think you're allowed to practice your chip shots on a tee. Ah, well, actually you can. Really? Yes, because although, you know, most people would think you're not allowed to practice at all during a competition, if you look at rule 5.5, it says that you can practice your chipping or putting
on or near the putting green you've last played, last completed, or on or near the next tee you're about to play, as long as you don't unduly delay play. And as you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting to play, there's nothing going on here, we can't play for a while, so I can practice my chipping on this tee, or indeed back on the last green if that wasn't going to hold play up. No bunker shots though, bunker shots are prohibited.
There you go, if you're waiting to tee off, use your time wisely, have a little bit of a practice, and who knows, you might play the upcoming hole even better than before. Right, Jez, I've just pushed my approach shot, and typically, you know, I'm very close to the green. I would love to putt this, but I've drawn a stinking lie, loads of grass behind the ball. I'm probably going to have to chip this. But in doing so, in taking my stance, it's clear that I'm stood on this sprinkler head.
Okay.
I know I'm entitled to some sort of relief. How can I use the rules of golf to my advantage here?
Well, the fact that you're on a sprinkler head is your source of hope here, because you can take relief from that. Now, you find your nearest point of complete relief, which is probably only going to be, you know, 6 inches away to the left, where the ball would be for that.
So I'll mark that.
There, that's your reference point. And now you get a 1 club length relief area from there.
If I give you a tee.
Using the longest club in your bag.
Not a putter?
No, not a putter. So typically your driver. So now you can see that by marking that out, that's not nearer the hole, you can now drop from the rough into a much better lie. And the rules only say the relief area must be in the general area as well for when you're dropping from the general area. It doesn't say if you're in thick rough, you must drop in thick rough. Fringes and aprons are part of the general area. So in this scenario, by being close to that sprinkler head, you've drawn a good card, as it were, and now you can drop it into a much better place and, in theory, potentially hole it for birdie.
Okay, so let's demonstrate that now. So I'm dropping it knee height. It's rolled.
It's gone slightly nearer, so you'd have to drop again.
Okay.
That has as well, so now you place it where it landed the second time.
So there we go.
Ball is in play and you can get a putter to it.
Absolutely delighted with that. I'm much more confident of getting up and down from this scenario. So there you have it, I've used the rules of golf to my advantage. I've gone from an iffy lie to a pretty good one. That's going to give me a better chance of getting up and down. Right, Jez, we've reached the green. We're in the same team in a 4-ball better ball match. And in this particular scenario, I am closest to the hole with a putt for a par. You are furthest from the hole with a putt for a birdie. And you can see our opponent's ball marker is kind of in between that, further away than mine, not as far as yours. You are due next to play.
Sort of, yes.
But in this scenario, we might want to flip it and me go first. How do the rules allow for that to happen, and what would be the advantage of that?
Well, in a 4-ball better ball match play scenario, the honour is the sides rather than the individual players. So as long as one of us is the one due to play next, either of us can actually play. So in this scenario, it could be advantageous for you to have a go at that, make the par, and then free me up to have a more aggressive or assertive run at my birdie putt, knowing that the worst I can do is no worse than what you've already got. So that will be one scenario. Or also, if we were on a similar line, the one nearer the hole might choose to go first, just to give the player further away but in fewer shots a better read.
And it's not just the green where this will come into force, is it? You can use it further down the hole as well.
You could, let's say I was further away from you, but in a bunker, come into it, it's a risky shot, I don't know whether I can pull it off. You're closer, and you've got a wedge in your hand. You might go first to get the ball in close, so that I then think, okay, well, there's no danger here, he's going to make par at worst. I can have a go at this. If it comes off, great. If it doesn't, no issue.
So in match play, there's some tactical elements involved in terms of the order that you play. Obviously, for me, it puts a bit of extra pressure in holding this putt. Let's see if I can do it and help you, give you a free run at your birdie.
A little bit left to right.
Never in doubt.
Just held on.
There you go. So use the rules of golf to your advantage. Free up yourself on the green. Hopefully, you'll hold those birdie putts. Excuse me. That's what you're doing.
I'm just looking to see what club I think you're probably about to.
I didn't know you were allowed to do that.
Well, this is one of these sort of grey areas, advice. It's not really a grey area because the rules say, well, I can't ask you what club you're about to hit, or I can't move anything in your bag to see what club you hit. So I couldn't move a head cover or towel or a bag cover. If I can see what club you're hitting just by looking, then that is not a breach of the rules.
And it's not a case of, just glancing over. You're literally allowed to get
you could
properly an inspection of what club I've hit.
You could. Obviously, people don't really do that. But obviously, if you as the player really didn't want someone to do that, the simple solution is to just put a head cover over your clubs or a towel over your clubs, and then I cannot access them. But all the time the bag is clearly visible like that, I can look and try and work out what club you're hitting, and that is not a breach of the rules. The rules covering advice are 10.2a, and you'll see in there that you're not allowed to touch another player's equipment when trying to work out what they're hitting, but you can look.
There you go. If you're a nosy golfer, you get away with it in the rules of golf, and it might just help you hit the right club on a par 3.
Yeah.
No. Great shot, partner.
Thank you.
Right, so here's a question for you. Jez and I are playing foursomes. How many shots do you think we've played now up to this point? Well, I won't give too much away. Jez, talk about the rule we're covering in this video, in this scenario that's just played out.
Okay, well, the rule here is that any time the ball is in the teeing area as defined by the rules, you are allowed to re-tee it in any part of that teeing area. So it's important to remember that is the teeing area as defined by the rules, which is 2 club lengths back from the outside front edges of the markers, not the whole tee block. Yeah. If you virtually whiff it as you did there, and I actually wanted to tee off in a different part of, well, I can re-tee it anyway, but
anywhere within here.
I can go anywhere in the teeing area, and I can re-tee it. It's a pretty niche scenario, but it might just come in handy sometimes.
Well, there was the one scenario where this could really come in handy if you're playing potentially a mixed foursomes match, or if your partner maybe can't carry a hazard that's in front of the tee. Just explain how that would work.
Well, you could effectively get your partner just to nudge it gently off the tee, so that you can then tee it up and blast it over the trouble, and therefore be the other side of the trouble for 2 shots. Rather than 3, because in this scenario we've only played 2 shots, because there is no penalty shot for picking the ball up from within the teeing area and putting it back on the tee peg. And the other scenario where it might occasionally happen is you nail it, hits a tree full on, comes back and somehow nestles back in the teeing area, which you do see occasionally on social media. In that scenario, you're not expected to play it off the deck. You can just re-tee it, and you would be playing 2.
There you go, pretty rare scenario, but there could be instances where you're able to re-tee the ball to gain an advantage using the rules of golf. Right, so Jez, we're on the second hole of the old course here at Gogmagog Golf Club, and you know, we're just off the green. Most people would putt it, but some people might chip it. Some severe slopes down to the green, the flag, and then beyond the green, it's a big runoff. There's some bunkers down there, and in the summer, you know, with the severity of this slope, balls could fly quite a long way, and it could leave your ball in quite a precarious position.
Yes.
If I do hit a bad shot from this scenario, what are my options to help me and use the rules to my advantage?
Well, let's say you go for the risky shot and you try and play a kind of soft hand lob and you knife it. Suddenly it's in that bunker down there, not completely unrealistic.
No.
Now, that was for birdie. You're now in a bunker trying for a par from a 50-yard bunker shot. It might be up against the back lip. You've got virtually no chance. Perhaps what you should have done is putt this, and the rules of golf kind of allow you to do that. Obviously there's the stroke and distance penalty, so where you were playing 3, you'd now be playing 5, but that might be your best chance to escape here with no more than 6, because you get in that bunker and all sorts could go wrong. And I think people don't really know that in this scenario you can take stroke and distance even though you are closer to the hole and where that ball came to rest. And you could even do it on, you know, a 4-foot putt that crazily has got away from you and suddenly it's 40 yards back down the fairway. Do you think, okay, I've got more chance of holding that 4-footer now than playing a good chip? Even, you know, you might even have gone into a penalty area where you'd have to take a drop anyway. So sometimes taking stroke and distance from around the green or on the green might just be the best option to limit the damage. Yeah, that's a very good option to give you some hindsight. If you've chosen the wrong club, maybe in this scenario, go from the wedge to the putter, use stroke and distance. It might help you knock a few shots off your scores. So there you have it. That concludes our look at the 8 ways you can use the rules of golf to your advantage. I can see all of you now going out and practicing in different bunkers on the course. Remember, if you do that, don't hold up play unduly. But hopefully you found this video useful. Do click the like button down below if you did, and subscribe to the Golf Monthly YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our other rules related videos. But that's all from me from Gogmagog Golf Club. I'll see you next time.